You serve the coffee of my dreams. I wish that this moment will never end.
Hi, everybody. Peter Ackerman. I miss him. He started as a mentor, and he became a friend. And we laughed, and we learned, and we fought, too. And it was all good. And then at his memorial service, I was just struck by how extraordinary his accomplishments were, but also just by their breadth and depth. I can't even imagine working in making such an impact in so unbelievably many areas. And I couldn't stop thinking, wow, how did he have so much time for me and for this work? And the answer is because that's who he was, and because he believed in this movement, in disrupting the duopoly through structural change. His first love, RCV, and I believe we were well on the way to a second love for Final Five voting, I hope. And so I think that the point I would make today about Peter Ackerman is that he believed in the movement, as I just said, but also that he believed in us, because he believed in Americans coming together to do justice to our democracy. And he believed that we could do it. He wasn't skeptical about our eventual success. So I say thank you, Peter, and we'll take it from here in your honor.
I met Peter Ackerman for the first time before he launched Americans Elect, when he hired me to do what is known in the political consulting business as an opposition research project, to look into his background. By the time that I was finished with the project, I knew that given the chance, I wanted to work for Peter for the rest of my life. And I am lucky to have had the privilege to work with him for the rest of his life. On the day before he passed away, Peter and Larry Diamond and I were putting the finishing touches on another essay about the future of ranked choice voting, a cause that we had worked on together starting in 2014 and culminating in my home state of Maine, becoming the first state in the nation to use ranked choice voting in all of our federal elections. Peter was insistent that I get that article submitted to American Progress that day. As one person at the Atlantic Council wrote in a tribute to Peter, he died with his boots on the ground. Peter was a man of ideas, and he believed that the right ideas would always come to us if we were simply open and available to receive them, and if our hearts were in the right place. He would remind me quite often that ideas are accepted in stages. First, they don't like the idea at all. Then they say, "Oh, I've heard of that." And finally, if the idea is really good, they will say that they had had that idea all along, and that they had known it from the start, and even that it had been their idea in the first place. There was another lesson that he wanted me to understand, which was that there was no need or importance in taking any credit for any of the work that we had done together, even in the midst of great success. He would tell me that we were like the Lone Ranger and Tonto coming into town to save the day, and at the end of the battle they would ask, "Who was that masked man?" Another pearl of wisdom he would share with me was, always be the student, always be the teacher. That's what allowed him to be so open to listening to other people from all walks of life, to be receptive to new ideas and also to generously share his spirit and knowledge with everyone he met. I'm sure everyone in this room was the beneficiary of Peter's wisdom and his spirit, and that he taught us all both big things and small things. He taught my son Tiger about the split step in tennis, my husband Peter about how precisely to make the best baked potato, my other son Jack that every single athlete does not have the same level of enthusiasm every day. He taught me that America itself is an idea, and that our democracy is a devotion, and that it was an act of patriotism and courage to be an independent thinker, to be in the business of constantly breaking new ground and working to form a more perfect union. He taught me the importance of dedicated practice. He helped me become a better daughter, a better mother, a better spouse, a better coworker, and a better friend. He believed in me, and he taught me to have a much greater tolerance for risk. Even in the face of entrenched opposition and very, very powerful people, he taught me that we cannot let fear ever stop us from moving forward. Peter's last big piece of work was the checklist to end tyranny, which we spent editing with many of you all through the unusual years of 2020 and 2021. It was a synthesis of his life's learnings about civil resistance, and he wanted it all to be less than 100 pages and to be able to fit into the pocket of a dissident. He wanted the promise and efficacy of civil resistance to be shared with pro-democracy activists in every unfree country in the world. He wanted people living under tyranny to realize that they were themselves the source of their own liberation, and above all, he wanted them to have confidence. My cell phone is ringing a lot less these days, and I know that all of you too will dearly miss the calls and the letters and the emails and the wonderful conversations with Peter. To fill that silence, we can all become his voice now, to continue always being students and always being teachers. And I hope that you will join me in sharing Peter's beautiful insights out in the world. He would want us to be open and to be listening for the best ideas to come to all of us to strengthen our democracy and to bring democracy to others.